Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hello, hey, how you doing, Mike? It's the G-Man. What's going on, man?
Hey, G-Man, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, and this is powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be seen on the YouTube channel at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you subscribe. You can also watch the episodes and also download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And also, you can also take the Mike Wagner Show with you wherever you go on any mobile device. And also check out the MikeWagnerShow.com or a lot of great shows. We're back once again with the great, very hilarious Allan the G-Man Gitlin, the funniest man on the planet right now. And he's got some great updates. And G-Man, how are things been shaking? Thanks for having us back again.
Everything's good, Mike. I got a lot of stuff to tell you about. Got a lot of good, interesting stories. Got some new stuff I'm working on. A lot of good stuff since last time we talked.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, of course, of course, we heard about your funny stories with Jennifer Aniston. You also been on quite a number of commercials and everything. And I just love to hear about that Jennifer Aniston story, first of all. You talked about a number of times how you got your career started, but I think a big highlight's been Jennifer Aniston, and I just get a kick out of the fact that you did better than Jennifer Aniston. You can just tell us about that real quick.
Well, she did a movie called The Bounty Hunter with Bradley Cooper, and it was shot in Monmouth Park in New Jersey, and they shot it on a day where the track wasn't running, and there was about 500 extras, and I happened to be 2 rows behind her. And she had a line. They went to lunch together, Bradley Cooper and her. And I don't know if they went to a motel or went to a bar. I have no idea. But when she came back, she had like a line that said, "Don't chase me anymore." And it took her 40 takes to do that line. I don't know if they had a rendezvous in a motel or she sat at a bar for about an hour or what. I don't know. But she couldn't do her line. Let's put it that way.
That is amazing, too. You can catch the G-Man on the Bounty Hunter movie. You can pick it up anywhere you go, like on Amazon or YouTube or any other place where you can rent DVDs or even on Redbox as well, too. You can catch it on any cable channel. And plus, you also worked with Vince McMahon as well, too, for a little bit. You can just tell us about that wonderful adventure you had.
I was in a commercial. One of the first things I really did in my second career was I was in a WWE commercial that was shown on Channel 9 locally in New York. Must have been shown about 200 times maybe. And it was a pretty funny story, actually. He was looking for guys that were 6 feet and over and weighed, around 220, 230, 240. They could play football. And so I'm about 6'3", about 220, so I fit the bill. And New York City from my house is about 45 minutes. We had to be there at 6 in the morning, so it means I had to get up like at 4 in the morning to be in the city on time. And they take us up, 11 of us in a van, up to Rockland County, New York, which is about an hour outside the city, north of the city. And as we get there, they said, "Oh, you have to sign a waiver for Vince McMahon." It was a commercial with a combination of the XFL, the WWE, and Stacker 2 when the XFL was around. So I'd say it was around 2003 or 4, something like that. I don't quote me on the exact year off the top of my head, but anyway, we get up there and they say, hey, there's a waiver here you got to sign. And this thing is about 30 or 40 pages, made up by Vince McMahon's lawyer. And you had to be a lawyer to understand it, number one. So as we're reading it and trying to read it, all of us, we say to the guy who gave it to us, what happens if you don't sign this thing? And he probably says, well, guess what? If you don't sign it, you won't be in the commercial. We'll take you right back to New York.
Oh,
so it was kind of like a catch-22 because we didn't really have a choice. Either you sign it or you're not in the commercial, basically. So it was very hard to we had no choice really. So we signed it, and it was basically so that you couldn't sue WWE if you got hurt because we were playing football in the snow, and it was about 10 degrees that day, and the XFL cheerleaders were freezing because all they had on was cheerleader outfit. Of course, the guys liked it because their boobs were sticking out, And China, the wrestler, actually got fired because she was supposed to be there, and she was in a drunken stupor with X-Pac or whatever they called him, Sean, I forget his last name, but they were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and they were in a drunken stupor for the weekend. And it was like a Friday or a Thursday or something. They were already drunk, and they couldn't get a hold of either one of them. And they both got fired at the time, and Vince McMahon had to dub in Kane, the Big Red Machine, into the commercial later on. And it was funny because it goes back so far that they actually ran out of film and had to go back to New York City to get film.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And of all the things, you had to sign a waiver, but then a little catch-22, they had to stop the commercial just to go get film in New York. It's like, didn't they realize they had this planned? Oh, my gosh.
They had to go back an hour into New York City to get film.
Oh, my goodness. Of all things, it's the stuff you can't make up. No, I'll tell you that.
You cannot make this up. No, you cannot make this up.
And of course, too, we'll talk about, some of the lift stories that you have as well, too. And by the way...
Oh, yeah. And I got some good lift stories. But let me tell you about some of the stuff I'm doing now. I had a couple of things, really cool things happen in the last couple of months, which is really cool, all good stuff. I was in an AT&T commercial that's on their website for their new phone, Consira, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's on their website and it's on YouTube, but it's not on regular TV or anything. And I play it. It's a new app they put on their phone for delivery men and construction workers, and I played the delivery man at the time. And I'm the only one in that part of the commercial. But it's about a 2-minute commercial. I'm in the last, 15 seconds or something like that. It was a pretty cool commercial, though. It was a pretty cool commercial.
That is something. What are Go ahead.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
And I was in a movie just last month in Brooklyn where I play a police officer that's coming out on the internet, and also one that's coming out on the internet called The Bend. It's about a guy who doesn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I played the football coach in that. So it's pretty cool. And I talked about my script once. I don't know if people know about my script that I wrote. I wrote an original idea called Adam Goldsmith, Private Eye. It's about a guy living now that uses no technology. He's a cross between Columbo and James Bond. And he's Columbo because he figures stuff out by his gut. And he's James Bond because he's betting everything in sight, including his secretary. As a matter of fact, that's how she got her job. She couldn't pay her bill, so they worked it off. And she decided to stay with him, and she actually has knee pads in her drawer. And when you can't find her, she might get a look under his desk. But we'll leave that alone for now. Yeah. And I'm also putting together a comedy act with a black guy right now. He's going to be Frank White. I'm going to be Willie Black. Called the Unpolitically Correct Comedy Crew. And one of the bits is, I just run one of the bits by you, and I wrote a lot of bits already. That I'm Jewish, so he asked me, what is, as a Jewish guy, what do you do on Christmas Day? And I say, well, we go to the movies and have Chinese food, which most Jewish people do on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I asked him, what do you do as a black man? And he said, well, while we're at the movies eating Chinese food, we're robbing your house. So it's going to be called the Unpolitically Correct Comedy Crew. And he's going to have a white shirt with black letters that says Frank White. I'm going to have a black shirt with white letters that says Willie Black.
That sounds funny too, and of course that's in the works. So you have to tell us on Facebook where we can find it. So So who do you have in mind to play those parts as well?
Well, for Adam Goldsmith, you talking about?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, for Adam Goldsmith, we're getting. I have a friend of mine in. I think you had him on a show, Mike. Dre Boyd.
Yes, that's right, Dre Boyd. I remember him.
And he's a friend of mine, and he's got his own production company in Chicago, and we're getting the actors together now, and we're taking submissions in Chicago, and then we're going to narrow it down to who we want to play, what part for the trailer. And Dre has some connections out in L.A., and hopefully we're going to be able to sell it to Amazon or Hulu or Netflix, and I'll stay on as a consultant, hopefully, because there's things I want to bring out more to show this guy wants to live back in the 80s before technology took over. He drives the first car he ever owned, lives in the same house that he grew up in, eats breakfast most days in the same diner. He lives with his childhood sweetheart, and she knows all about his extra stuff, and sometimes she actually partakes in it with him.
That is something. We're looking forward to that as well, too. Yeah. So, we'll get to your lift stories in just a minute, and we know you're a driving force. Listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, catch the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well, too, on video at the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube. Please subscribe today. And also download and listen to our episodes on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And also watch the interview on YouTube as well. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device wherever you go. We're here with the G-Man, Allan Gitlin from wonderful New Jersey. He's a world-class comedian. He's appeared in quite a few commercials. He's been on a number of shows and also hosted a podcast or two as well, and writing some new material. And he's got some uplifting stories to talk about. And maybe we'll just get to some of the podcasts you've been on and also hosted as well, too, and maybe for something uplifting.
I've been on a lot of podcasts. I've done... that's the last one I did. Anthony Williams out of Chicago. I've been on numerous ones. Actually, I forgot some of them. I've done so many in the last year or two. I've also had my own podcast with my friend Artie Hoffman, who's a psychic. So I always bust his chops. And Mike, you know Artie also. And Artie's been married 3 times. And I say, what kind of psychic you didn't see that coming? What the hell? 3 divorces. What the hell? And he always says he can't read himself. So, but he is very good at psychic. And if you want to check him out, it's artiehoffman.com, I believe. He's a good friend of mine. We grew up together, and a real good guy.
And of course, you have those wonderful Artie parties as well, too. He loves to talk about, and you've been to quite a number of them.
Yep. Artie parties. He reads. He does gets 10 women, and he'll give the host, I believe, a free reading or something. And he does very well with that, and he makes a lot of. He also has a window cleaning and power washing company called Peeping Tom Window Cleaning.
Peeping Tom, I love that.
Yes, so you can't forget that name, which is pretty cool.
Yes,
and he's got like 4 crews, and he specs the jobs out, and he'll pitch in if they're short somebody or need something to be done. Mm-hmm. So he's pretty cool, pretty busy guy, and he's a pretty cool guy.
Now has he done your windows by any chance?
Yeah, he does windows, yes.
No, your windows, per se, like at your house or your office. What's that?
I haven't asked him to do my windows yet.
Well, I think it's a good time to do so as well, too, and maybe your car windows, too. So, you being a car salesman from New Jersey and, selling all kinds of Fords and everything.
He doesn't like to do car windows, though. He'll only if there's a woman in it. He won't do it for a guy. Yeah.
And I suppose you want to dress as a woman, you think? Or
No, I'm not doing that. No, there's a lot of things I'll do, but that I'm not doing. Sorry. No cross-dressing here.
That's okay. I mean, you're an actor after all, and you've been in comedy as well, too. And, of course, you got some really uplifting stories, and, of course, you shared quite a few of them. And tell us about some of your latest tales. It's like, what really drives you and make it uplifting?
I just wake up every day with a smile on my face, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say positive attitudes bring positive results. and I'm always upbeat. I'm always positive. I'm enjoying life, and I'm not letting a whole lot bother me anymore. I have a saying now that, listen, things are gonna work themselves out one way or the other, either for you or against you, and most likely you have no control over it anyway. So no sense worrying about it. Just go out and do what you got to do for you and your family. And I only worry about a couple of things right now. I worry about my children and my grandkids, basically. Mm-hmm. And if I'm with somebody, right now I'm starting to be with somebody. Hopefully, it seems to be going pretty good. So I worry about them. Otherwise, everything else is going to work itself out, and I probably have no control over it anyway. So why worry about it?
That is that is very true as well too. And of course, you take Lyft customers all over the place, but there are some things you just can't make up.
Well, I don't know if anybody heard this story before, but this is one of the funniest stories of Lyft that I've ever heard and I've ever been around. And if I wasn't involved in it, I wouldn't believe it. I pick up a guy in a town where I grew up in, and his father puts him in the car. The guy's about 35 years old, and he goes, listen, you take him to rehab, and this is rehab number 6 for him. This is the last shot. So he's in the back, and he's bobbing his head up and down. We're talking a little bit here and there. It's about a 40-minute ride, and it's a nice ride for me, and I'm getting paid pretty decent for it. So he's telling me he was an athlete in high school, and he still owns records in one of the local high schools, and he won a golf tournament yesterday. He's a scratch golfer or whatever, and he got drunk as a skunk afterwards, and his father said, that's it. You're going to rehab again, and that's it. That's the last time I'm putting you in rehab. So on the way down, he's telling me that he wants to buy a bottle of gin. And I'm like, what? You're going to rehab? Yeah, I want a bottle of gin before I go. So I said, listen, I'll stop it. I'm not buying it for you, pal. So we decide, we get off the highway, right, we're about a quarter mile to the rehab place. And he stops and gets a bottle of gin, and he drinks half of it down. He bought like a pint, and half of it's gone, like instantly. And he gets back in the car, and he was wearing shorts. It happened to be warm that day, and he was wearing shorts. And he put it in the pocket of his shorts, and we get to the rehab place, and he won't tell the lady his name. And she said, listen, we're paying for this ride, and we're going to get paid back by your insurance, but we're paying for this ride. We can't check you in. We know you're coming, but we got to know what your name is. And he won't tell her. So she tells me, don't go anywhere, and you might have to take him back to his father's house. No, dollars are ringing in my head, like, oh, another, it was $50 down. It's going to be another $50 going back. Whoa! So, so anyway, I stick around for a while. He finally gives her, the name inside, and she comes out, and she says, he blew 3.0 on the breathalyzer. At 4.0, we sent him to the hospital. So I said, as soon as that the pint of rum or whatever gets in his system, I said he'll blow 4.0 in about a half hour. Take my word for it, he will. And she said, "Where's it at?" I said, "Look in his shorts. He's got a pint in his shorts." And sure enough, she found it, and she said we got to retest him in about an hour.
Oh my gosh!
I assume he went to the hospital after that, But here he is going to rehab, and he wants to drink on the way. I mean, what's wrong with you? And it was rehab number 6. And all the way he was talking about that he had his son taken away from him because he's an alcoholic. And his ex-wife was on the phone arguing with him, I guess, about something. I don't know what. I was hearing the conversation. But I mean, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, rehab number 6, really? You're not. It's not like you're an old guy. You're 35 years old.
It just makes me think Amy Winehouse. It says, I don't want to go to rehab. No, no, no. That song must have been in his head and trying to emulate Amy Winehouse. It's like, of all people, I'll tell you.
I don't know what the hell his problem was. And then there was another one. I think I might have told you this one before. I don't know if I did or not. But I used to be in the car business. I didn't sell. Well, I did have my own lot at one time, a long time ago. But I was on the outside doing advertising. I ran an auto auction online. I worked for a couple of Ford dealers selling parts and service. And so this nice-looking black girl gets in my car, and unfortunately, she weighed about 350 pounds, but she had a very pretty face. And she's talking about she wants to buy a car, and I'm telling her the best thing to do is, lease a new one, buy a used one. And the next words out of her mouth were, hope this doesn't offend you, but I've been leasing out part of my body for years.
Leasing part of the body? What?
Okay? And she tells me the body part. Now, I cleaned this up for your radio show. Do I need to know this? Do I care to know this? I don't really care, and I don't really care about it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And she proceeds to have to tell me this, and she proceeds with, "I hope this doesn't offend you." So she knew what she was saying was out of line. Number one.
Oh my gosh.
But I've been around the block a few times, and it doesn't bother me. Just I don't know where it came from. That's the only thing I don't understand.
And that's still stuff you just can't make up. And you sometimes wonder, where are these people these days? And of course, I'm sure you picked up some other interesting customers as well, too. And, that stuff you still can't make up. I mean, you had a guy that was totally drunk. You had a woman that was 350 pounds, telling about this and that. And I mean, I guess another situation, it's like, what's the next unusual thing?
Well, I pick up a skinny young black girl, very pretty, I would say she was about 23 years old, very thin. And I hear her say to her, she's on the phone with her boyfriend, and I hear her say, this older white gentleman picked me up for a lift. Now, this girl went a half a mile. You're going to see why that half a mile means is important.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking, and I hear her say something about, we're going to do the nasty later, right? I guess he said, yeah. And next words out of her mouth were, but there's certain things you don't like to do on me. And she proceeds to tell him what she says what it is.
Uh-huh.
Do I need to know this? You went a half a mile. You couldn't talk to the guy out of the car and tell him this?
Oh, my
gosh. You had to tell him in the
gosh.
car. I don't understand this, but what do I know? Hey,
it's just some people don't think, on their phones and everything, and go a half hour and such. And
no filter at all. Have
you actually had couples get in the car and do the wow thing as well too? Have you ever encountered that or no?
Well, let's put it this way. I don't have autopilot on my car like that porn star did with her boyfriend a couple weeks ago. Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't. But I'd like to hear more about it.
Okay. Well, Tesla has. In their new cars has the autopilot. You're supposed to touch the wheel every couple of minutes just to make sure that the autopilot's working.
Mm-hmm.
So you can set it for you want to go to Burger King or McDonald's or down the street, whatever. You put an address in and it goes there by itself. So her and her boyfriend decided they were going to do the wild thing in the back seat while the car was on autopilot. And she sent the video to Elon Musk, who owns Tesla Motors. Hey, this is how good your autopilot is. We could make love in the back seat while it's on autopilot. Now, she's a porn star, which I never heard of, so I'm not saying I'm a porn expert, but I never heard of her. I don't know anybody that ever heard of this girl. So apparently she's not a big porn star. Apparently she just wanted publicity, maybe.
I think it sounds like it's just like, she'll be forgotten about 15 minutes, after what happens with the Tesla car, but go ahead with it.
Right. So it was a big thing on the internet. And I think it might be taken down now. I don't know. But she sent it to Elon Musk to say, hey, look how good your autopilot is. I can make love in the back seat with my boyfriend.
Oh, jeez. Oh, of all the things people do. Unbelievable.
Right. And he actually said, I thought somebody might try that one day, but I was hoping it was a long way down the road somewhere. Not now.
Isn't that something? I'll tell you. I mean, you just heard every story possible, and what's been the most unusual as of late that has never been topped by anybody?
Well, I was just telling somebody this the other day, and it's something that my dad was a pretty straight-laced guy, and he told me this joke when I was 12 years old. Of course, as a kid, you don't really understand it. And I just told this joke to somebody the other day, and they said that's one of the funniest jokes I ever heard in my life. And so I don't know why it came to mind just now. I don't know why, but it did. So my dad told me this joke. I was about 12 or 13, and I didn't understand it until I was until I was 14 or 15 maybe. I didn't understand it. And the joke is that these two bums, they haven't eaten for about a month, and they're starving, and they find a $20 bill. And they're arguing. Let's go this way. Let's go that way. Let's go this way. Let's go to the old log in. Let's go to the old Fox Run. And they settle on the old log in. And they're arguing how to get there. Let's go this way. It's faster. Let's go this way. It's faster. The guy without the $20 bill says, listen, I'm going to go this way. You go that way. We'll meet at the old log in. So the guy without the money gets there first. And he's waiting about a half hour. He said, son of a bitch, the guy took off with my $20. We're best friends. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything for a month. What the hell happened to this guy? So he walks back up on the other road, and the guy is all bloody, waving the $20 bill. And he says, what the hell happened to you? He said, well, I saw this car with the windows all fogged up, and I knocked on the window and asked the guy, how far is the old log in?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, at 12 years old, I didn't understand this, okay?
Oh.
Why my father thought I understood it, I didn't know. I didn't understand until I was like 14 or 15, to be honest with you.
Oh,
and I never forgot that joke. Is that funny? I never forgot that joke.
Isn't that something? You learn something new every day, and I'll tell you. I
never forgot that joke, Mike. I mean, that joke now is... I'm 66. That joke is about 54 years old, 55 years old.
and still hilarious as heck today, I'll tell you that.
It's a funny joke, yes. It is a funny joke, actually. The person I told the other day thought it was hysterical.
Oh, my gosh.
And it happened to be a woman. It happened to be a woman who thought it was hysterical.
Of all people, isn't that something?
Yep. 60-year-old woman thought it was hysterical. So.
And of course, another question is, two men walk into a bar and...
Right. Yep. So, yeah, that's just a funny thing that happened just the other day, actually, and I thought it was pretty funny. Why I thought to tell this person that joke that day, I have no freaking idea. No idea. I assume maybe we're talking about my father or something, and I just came to mind. I don't know.
and stuff you just can't make up. I'll tell you that.
No, you cannot. Absolutely not. No.
And of course, we know you're very uplifting, and we'll just get to more in just a few minutes. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking a budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, catch the video on YouTube as well, too, at the Mike Wagner Show. Subscribe to YouTube under the Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, watch the interview on YouTube as well and take the Mike Wagner Show with you wherever you go. We're here with comedian Allan Gitlin out of New Jersey, talking about his latest ventures. He appeared in a number of commercials and some of the history involved and everything, and also being a stand-up comedian. And, of course, you've been a Lyft driver with all kinds of uplifting stories, as they say, with stuff you just can't make up. And, of course, in terms of comedy appearances, tell everybody where you're going to be appearing next for stand-up comedy.
I don't know yet, because this act is the black guy with the black guy is going forward, and we have a guy in Roanoke, Virginia, and also Atlantic City that wants us, and we have a guy on a cruise ship that wants us. We just recorded a CD, about a 6-minute CD, which I just sent out the other day to these guys and waiting to hear back from them. So we'll know shortly. I would think we'll probably end up in Roanoke, Virginia first, and maybe on a cruise ship down the road, or Atlantic City. We don't know yet.
Well, it sounds like you're going to be on tour for a while then.
It's very possible, and my partner has a full-time job, and I'm semi-retired, so if he can't do it, I have a Spanish friend that's Puerto Rican. He may do it. Instead of robbing a house, I'll say he's robbing me with a knife when I come out of a Chinese food restaurant.
I think that'd be an interesting combination, Chinese food and robbing everything else. And I think that's a great combination.
So he's like a backup if my black partner can't do it. And then his name is actually Chico Mendez, and I'll make my name Chico Mendez, and he'll be Frank White. That's all. So.
Or I'm thinking Chico and the Man, that classic sitcom with Freddie Prinze. Yeah. Oh, I know.
We don't want to copy from them.
I know.
His real name is Chico Mendez, so I can use his name, Chico Mendez. That's his real name. So
it just makes me think of that classic comedy from the 70s. I love watching Chico and the Man, but too bad Freddie Prinze took his life too soon, and it was just really sad. But yes, it's like probably one of my big influences in comedy, and hopefully people can take up after you as well.
Yeah, well, my two favorite comics now are Ron White, who tells a lot of stories like I do, and about his life and stuff. Everyday life is funny, Mike. And and also Jeff Dunham. Jeff Dunham's not the best ventriloquist, but his humor is very quick.
Uh-huh.
And he controls his puppets very well, which makes his humor very funny.
Right.
And of course, he's got to make a lot of money now because he's got 4 kids he's got to support, and they're all young. So.
Wow, I did not know that.
He's got 2 with his first wife. I think the oldest one is about 12, and he's got 2 twins that are about 5 or 6 now. So with his second wife, who was a stage manager at one point, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh my goodness! That explains why he comes out to places a lot. He was at He was
Yeah.
in Bismarck maybe a couple of months back, but that started at 5 o'clock, and I thought to myself, don't acts start like at 7 or 8 o'clock? I find it strange, but it's like
he might have played from 5 to 8 or something like that.
Right.
5 to 7, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on who he brought out, Peanut is one of his, and Jose Jalapeno is one of his, and Walter. And of course, Bubba J, and he's got a few characters that I'm not thrilled about, but most of his characters are pretty good, though.
And of course, you think of Ahmed as well, too.
Ahmed, of course, Ahmed was his main guy for a long time.
Yeah, silence, I kill you.
Right, I kill you.
I kill you. And I still remember the part where I was watching this in his earlier acts as well too. He gets in there. Hello, I'm Lazy Lohan. Just jump out of the suitcase. Pretend to be with the was it FAA or that travel agency security or something, airport security.
TSA, yeah.
Yeah, TSA. Yeah. That's right.
And then there's also AJ, which is Ahmed Jr.
Silence, I kill you.
Yeah, he speaks with an English accent, AJ.
Oh, silence, I kill you. I guess I'll have to watch some. I guess I'll have to watch some Jeff Dunham.
AJ, there's a bit between AJ and Ahmed where Ahmed doesn't know that he hasn't seen his son in a long time. And he's trying to figure out who his mother is. And he said, I don't know if she had a number on her back. I don't know. 72 virgins. I don't know which one it was.
72 virgins?
Yeah, because there's, Ahmed's a dead bomber, So, he's, so he said, I don't know who your mother was because I only bought a number on her back. A number 54, I think, maybe. I'm not sure.
or just pick any number as well. Right. So it could be 1, 11, 69, 72, 14, or, whatever it is. Yes. So
there's a banter between him and Ahmed. There's one of the shows where there's a banter between him and Ahmed. I mean, AJ and Ahmed, and it's a pretty funny bit,
And it sounds like it as well, too. And, of course, you also had your other influences, and you'd be happy to talk about that as well, too.
Well, George Carlin, and I'm compared, my comedy is compared to Seinfeld, but George Carlin was a big influence on me, he was great. And Buddy Hackett, I loved Buddy Hackett when he was around. He had a great storyteller, and just had a way of laughing his head off and making you laugh. Buddy Hackett was one of the funniest comedians, I believe, ever, as was George Carlin. And Buddy Hackett tells a story that's so funny that's ridiculous. Matter of fact, in my act, I tell a story that I actually give him credit for, which is one of my favorite Buddy Hackett stories, and he did it on Johnny Carson about it's got to be 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is this guy goes duck hunting, and he shoots down a duck, and the duck lands on a barn, and he goes to get it, and a farmer comes out, and the farmer says, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" And the guy says, "I'm going to get my duck." And the farmer says, "Wait a minute. That duck landed on my barn. It's mine now." The guy says, "You're freaking nuts. I shot it down." And the farmer says, "Listen to me. That duck landed on my barn. It's mine now." And the guy says, "Listen, I've been out here 6 weeks. It's the only thing I shot down. I got to go back with something." So the farmer says, "Where are you from, by the way?" And he goes, "I'm from the city." He said, "You don't know country rules." And he goes, "What do you mean country rules?" "Country rules, you shoot something down. It lands on my property. It's mine now." The guy says, please, I'm begging you. I got to go back with something. And they go back and forth for about 45 minutes. And finally, the farmer says, "You know what? You don't seem like a bad guy. I'll tell you what. We'll sell this country style." And the guy says, "What do you mean country style?" "Country style, I kick you in the nuts. You kick me in the nuts. I kick you in the nuts. You kick me in the nuts. Who's ever left standing, that's whose duck it'll be." And the guy says, "Not for nothing. That sounds a little painful. But if that's what I got to do to get my duck, then let's go." So the farmer says, "Okay, but I go first." And he kicks him as hard as he can. And Buddy Hackett rolls on the floor. "Nina, Nina, Nina, nana, nana, nana. Oh, my God, mother, oh, my God." And he knocks over the coffee table where Ed McMahon used to have his coffee. And so the crowd's going crazy. And he's rolling on the floor, back and forth. And finally he gets to his feet. And the guy says, I guess it's my turn, huh? And the farmer says, nah, you can have the freaking duck. And the place just goes wild. It goes wild when he does that. And a funny, funny joke. And I actually tell that in my act, and I roll on the ground just like he did. And it's a funny, funny joke. Just is. You know?
Oh, that's just nuts, they say. Just nuts.
Yeah, it's just a funny, funny joke. And the whole audience went crazy, and Johnny Carson almost fell off his chair when he heard the punchline, you know? And it was just so funny, man. It's still a funny joke. It is still a funny joke, you know?
Oh, my God.
And then one of my other ones that he didn't tell, but I think I don't know who told me this joke. I don't know if I heard it from him or from somebody else, but I tell this in my act, and it's a funny joke about these three guys that go golfing every Friday for 10 years, and they come home one Friday, and their wife say to them, hey guys, we booked a 2-week vacation for you. And they go, where? Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And they're jumping up and down. All right, guys, we're going to play golf. All right. And the women say, whoa. You can't play golf while we're down there. And the guys are like, are you freaking nuts? That's the golf capital of the world except for Florida. And the women say, listen, if you play golf while we're down there, we're coming home on the next flight. We don't care what it costs you. The men are like, are you freaking nuts? You know, we're going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're supposed to play golf. That's what we're going there for. So the women say, you can't play golf while we're down there. End of story. So as men do, they think about it for about an hour and a half. They go, listen, guys, at least we're getting away, so we'll go with them. So they go away and at Myrtle Beach, and the first week they're absolutely dying. Everybody's asking to play golf. There's golf course, and they can't play. The second week comes Monday. They're leaving Saturday. They get together, three guys. They listen, we're booking a 9 o'clock tee time right now for Friday. We don't care what the women say. We're playing golf Friday. So Friday comes, and the three of them show up, and they're talking. How'd you get here? How'd you get here? How'd you get here? And the first guy said, I was smart. I bought my wife a full-length mink coat. Cost me $30,000. She said, go play golf. Go ahead. Second guy said, I did better than you. I bought my wife a brand-new Porsche Carrera 911 convertible. Cost me $92,000. My wife said, you can go play golf. Third guy said, you know what? You're both stupid. They go, what are you talking about? He said, last night I was in bed with my wife. I said, golf course or intercourse? She said, go play 18 holes.
Oh, my gosh.
That's two very funny jokes. I tell them I act. They're hysterical. They're clean, actually. They're not dirty, but they're still funny. There's no screaming, no yelling, no nigga, motherfucker, whatever. They're funny jokes. They're funny jokes.
Oh, my goodness. That is something.
There are two very funny jokes that I tell them I act. They're two of my favorite jokes. I tell them all the time to everybody possible, you know.
I actually had a couple of comedians on that actually did play golf, and I'm sure that will go over very as well, too. Like you went to Kansas City. If you go to Seattle
right.
and ran to them, which I'll probably tell you later, I'm sure they love to have a game with you. So,
Yep. So, you know, that's my comedy. And compared to Seinfeld, my comedy is I'm an observation comedian, they call me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Caroline's Comedy School in New York City, a famous place. And they can't tell you're not funny. They try to critique your writing and get used to stage time. But if you're not on stage all the time, you never get used to stage time. You got to be up on stage every week, once a month, something like that. Because stage time, you know, talking to your friends is one thing, but being in front of 200 people or 250 people is a whole different thing.
Right.
It's a whole different thing,
mm-hmm.
you know. And one of the things that I pick up on is stupid things. Let's say, for example, I flew to Orlando about 8 or 9 months ago. And I was eating dinner, and I noticed they give me a plastic fork with a regular knife.
Oh, my gosh.
The TSA rules say you cannot have a knife. So you get a plastic knife with a regular fork. Like, I can't do damage with that fork. I could stab you in the heart. I could stab you in the jugular. I could stick that fork up your rear end if I wanted to. Who knows what I could do with that fork? But you're allowed to have one, though, a regular fork with a plastic knife, because DSA says you can't have a knife.
And, of course, that makes you wonder and say, WTF, what the fork, they say.
Right. But, I mean, who thought of this great idea?
You kind of wonder on that too. It's the stuff you just can't make up, like you said. And
Right.
I don't fly very often per se, and of course, follow
Right.
rules, be safe, and everything else. But it's like you're better off just walking with nothing, just
Well-
travel light.
Well, here's the thing. Also, on the way back, I felt like having something light to eat. I wasn't very hungry, so I said to the guy, "Is there something like can I have a child's meal? I just want like a grilled cheese sandwich or something." He goes, "Yeah, child meal. You get a grilled cheese sandwich and like a 4-ounce glass of soda."
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Okay, give me that." Now my mistake was not asking him how much it was.
Oh.
So one piece of cheese on toast is $14.99.
What?
Yes. So I said to him, if I knew it was $14.99, for another $7, I would have got an adult meal.
Oh my gosh! Isn't that something?
Like, what? But that was my fault for not asking how much it was.
Uh-huh.
But I had no clue that it was going to be $14.99. Take my word for it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never order. I would have got a steak for $22 or something like that. What the hell? Who the hell is one piece of cheese on a grilled cheese sandwich?
Oh my gosh! I mean,
And
can you imagine that?
A 4-ounce glass of soda.
Wow.
Really?
Only at the airports, I'll tell you that.
Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable.
That is. But of course, you're flying high as well too, and a lot of times you don't need the airports and everything, and of course, love the happy icon as well too, and keep us up to date with the projects. And lastly, what's the best advice you can give to anybody right now at this point?
Best advice is never give up on your dream. And today, a no today doesn't mean a no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you know you got something that's good, don't give up on it. Keep working at it. Keep pushing it. You know what? It's not sometimes what you know; it's who you know. And networking. I have business cards, and I would say if I do 12 rides, a lift a day, 5 people get my business cards because you don't know who they know or what they know.
Right.
Okay. And so the more people that have your business card or knows about your dream, you never know who you're talking to or who they know.
Mm-hmm.
So never give up and keep pushing. Hard work will get you where you want to go.
That is amazing, too. I hear that all the time, and I think you've hit upon the head. And lastly, tell us about your upcoming projects and what's your website and how do people contact you?
Well, my website is www.theg-man.net. You'll see all the stuff I've done. The stuff that's not up there is only because I wasn't sent a link.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to promote everything I've done possible if I get a link for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got a few things. Like I said, the last couple of movies don't have links yet because I haven't gotten them yet. They're not edited yet. But the commercial for AT&T is up there. Any podcast that I've done, some of the movies I've been in. I also was in a commercial with one of the first things I did was with Joan London and Bob Smith. And Joan London's a sweet, sweet lady.
Mm-hmm.
I did a commercial they were doing a show called Investigative Reporter. And Joan London actually stood up. There was one scene where they just couldn't get it right. And I thought she was so cool. She stood up and she said, "I just want you to know, us professionals suck. You extras are great." I thought that was so cool. That she stood up and admitted that they were having problems with this one scene for some reason. I don't know why. And she's a very pretty lady, very nice lady, very, very, very pretty lady, a very nice lady also.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing! And as always, G-Man, it's always great having you on. And thanks for your time. We know you like to enjoy Lyft, and looking forward to having you on again soon. And as always, keep us up to date. We'd love to hear from you again.
All right, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Anytime, just give me a holler, and I'll come on your show. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.